All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to the Hometown Mamas podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be hearing from Grace, and she's going to be telling us all about her birth stories. Grace has had 3 babies, but only 2 births because she got a 2-for deal. So I think what worked really well with Sarah's birth story episode is that we just got to listen to her birth stories. So if you want to go ahead and start with Jack, you're first.
Yes. So, yeah. Let's see. I had no idea what to expect from delivery. I just thought, okay, so I'll share this first. I wanted to have like an at-home birth,
Okay.
but when we moved from Montana to the East Coast,
Mm-hmm.
I was like halfway through my pregnancy, and the first thing I read was like, find an OB. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. So thankfully, I was able to get in at one that my previous OB in Knoxville, like years ago, recommended. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, awesome. So I was like at the mercy of anyone even taking me. It's my first pregnancy. I was okay with it. So, like, this whole idea of like this at home birth slowly just like dissipated, I guess, like as I went along in the process. And it was such a wonderful experience. I loved my OB. I loved the
That's
staff.
wonderful.
Yeah, they were awesome. So I was like, you know what? I feel all right with this experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, I am, this is kind of funny because it goes along with the Jack's birth
Mm-hmm.
special to him. My husband's background is in finance. So my due date was like right around the new year
Uh-huh.
and like give or take. And we were like, we hope he's born at least on the 31st of December to get like the child tax credit.
Those tax breaks are nice.
Yeah, so we would joke with my OB, like, can you induce me at least on the 31st? And he's like, no, you have to. So it was like the day after, but no one would be in the office on a holiday. So he was like, you'd have to wait till the second.
Oh.
So we're like, okay, sounds good. Or no, I'm sorry, it was the third, something like that. But he was
Mm-hmm.
on the third, so it worked out. So, anyways, they scheduled the induction for the third,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the 31st, no baby. It's the first, no baby. So, I remember we were like, okay, let's stay up the whole day before because clearly we're making it to the induction, on the
Right.
third.
Right.
So, I had sat on a bouncy ball like all day, rolling around. And for hours. And I'm like, all right, my hips feel good. I'm good. And we go to Walmart because it's the only place open. And we're like, okay, let's get like some of the stuff that's on sale or something for the hospital and like some drinks and some snacks. So I get a foot massager that's like heavily discounted because it's after Christmas.
Mm.
And my husband's Googling like what to eat. And he's like, I hear you should have Taco Bell number so and so. You'll have a baby right away. Also, Burger King sandwich number what? I'm like, no, I'm not doing any of those. So we go back to my dad's house, which is where we were at the time, outside of Knoxville. And we take like a 11 o'clock stroll down to the water. And we're staring at the stars and we're like talking about how we're like, we had just stayed up, we're so tired, but we've got to like still stay up even longer. So we go back inside. I do my foot massager thing. He starts packing,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the first. So we had again stayed up. So, oh, and the second was going to be our day to like sleep all day. That's what it was.
Okay.
We're going to stay up all day on the first and sleep on the second, induction on the third.
I see. Okay.
Okay, so it's the first. We had stayed up all night, all day.
Oh
We're
no.
so tired. So I do my foot massager thing. Thankfully, everything was packed because mom over here is type A. And I'm going pee and I am wiping. And like, I don't know about you, but when I was pregnant, like, I could not sit down in the toilet seat. I just stood up and like peed covered. I had such a big tummy. Jack
Oh
was a big
man.
dude. So yeah, I
Mhm.
hovered. Anyways, so I'm wiping and I'm like, oh my gosh, I heard a pop and I'm like, Justin, I like heard, what is this? It keeps coming out. I'm like, oh, I think my water broke. I had no contractions. So it's January 2nd. It is now 12:01 a.m.
Mm.
We've been up for like 24 hours or something at this point. So I'm like, all right, we're going in the hospital, like clearly I'm in labor. And he is going like 115 down the highway, but no one's on the road because it's, the middle of the
Yeah.
night. And he's even though his background's in finance, he's a truck driver now, mind you guys. Like he's a professional driver, that's what we say. So he's like, getting us there. We get there safely. And sure enough, they do like the rupture of membranes test. It's
Hmm.
positive. I'm in a room. And by then I started having contractions. And I
Okay.
was like, okay, it's like 40 minutes later. And they are like going so quickly.
Ooh.
And but I'm like stuck at like 4 to 5 centimeters
Hmm.
for like hours, like
Mm.
6, 7, 8 hours. At this point,
How intense are your contractions at this point? Are
they
they
were
like
bad.
very, oh,
Yes. And I was like, I told you I wouldn't have a home birth. So, like,
yeah,
when my plan was no epidural, everything's natural,
yeah.
whatever. By like God, it was by like hour 7 or 8. And I was like, I'm sorry, but I'm stuck at what? It's like 6 centimeters maybe. And I'm like, at this rate, if I have to labor for like 20 more hours, I cannot do this.
And you've been awake for ever at this point.
Yes, yes, like tired as heck.
Yeah.
So,
Gosh, I can't imagine.
yeah, so I'm like epidural. I do the
Hmm.
epidural. So
Hmm.
over the course of the next couple hours, they're like, "Oh, his heart rate is dropping." And I'm
Um,
like, great. So now, like, I'm in stress because you're telling me every 30 minutes that something's wrong with him.
hmm.
And basically, they're like, he can't descend through your birth canal. And it's like not pushing the labor process along. So
Mm.
by the 11th hour, it is now 11 something in the morning, 12 something. They're like, okay, emergency C-section. We're in there in
Mm.
like 5 minutes. So they get him out, and I'm laying there like, I know what's going on, but it was just like a strange experience, like how fast everything was after it seemed
Yeah.
so slow and dragged out. And I
Yeah.
didn't anticipate a C-section. It just didn't go to plan at all. So the cherry on top of like these experiences is one, when they took him out, the nurses were passing him around. I get it to get like weighed or whatever cleaned up, but they're taking bets on how much he weighed. And
Mm.
it felt like forever for them to hand him back to me. And then with the sheet up, what do? They set him down. And I look over and all I see is swollen balls and a penis. And I'm like, great. So that's my first time I ever saw my first child
Oh,
ever is
yeah.
I'm doped up, this
Hmm.
C-section, didn't expect that. And giant balls in my face.
They are so giant. They are
Isn't
so.
it crazy?
It
But I
is.
literally, like, once we got back to the room, I could not, like, I could not take my eyes off him. I was so in
Oh,
love. Like, and he was born with like his eyes wide open. He did not nap. He did not sleep. It was like that when he came
wild.
out. Like, literally was the coolest thing. He was just like curious about everything.
Yeah.
Still hasn't changed. But
Oh.
this is kind of a funny story because it ties into, I'll get into like the birth of the twins real quick.
Hmm.
Not real quick. I don't want to breeze over it. It's just that this ties into it. So
Okay.
I am at the hospital, right, with
Hmm.
Jack and my husband, and they gave me like pain medicine PRN. And I think it was like day two, and I was slowly like weaning off of like PRN or whatever.
Hmm.
So I had known what I was taking, what it looked like. They come in, take it out of the package in front of you, whatever. So it's the middle of the night, and I had ripped open my C-section scar when I was leaning over, putting him in the bassinet thing, and I was like, I cannot do this, nurse.
Mm-mm.
So they check it
You
out. They
saying
like,
those words has me
I'm
like,
so sorry, but
oh,
it was the reality of it. But the nurse came in, she patched it up, and she comes back in, and she already has the medicine in her hand and like put it in a cup real quick and handed it to me, and it was like a different color, and it looked like a horse pill, and I made a mental note of it in my head, and
yeah.
I was like, okay, let me Google this, when she leaves. So I do, and it's Tylenol. It's Tylenol 3, like whatever. And I was like, this is not like my pain medicine or whatever. And also,
Hmm.
they were giving that to me as a generic brand, which I'd already gotten like 2 hours
Hmm.
before.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I told my husband, and he said something else to the other nurse that was in there. And she was like, huh, well, they're the same like class of drugs. And I'm like, no, they're not. But okay, one's a class one scheduled drug and one's over the counter, like it's a
Right.
little different. But she like was weird about it, I guess.
Mm.
So, anyways, I'll talk about the twins birth story, but when I went into the hospital, 10 and a half months later to give birth to the twins, we said something to our nurse about it when we were in there, and she's like, yeah, she doesn't work here anymore. And she was saying,
Ooh,
yeah,
the
we found
tea.
out that she was pocketing people's pain medicine. So I was like, oh, that's nice. Yeah. I'm like,
Girl,
really,
that is
lady? Like,
crazy.
my
You are part of her
C-section scar.
scheme.
Yes, I know. I was like, what the heck? So, anyways, um, the
Man,
twins,
good thing she got. I wonder how she got caught. I'm glad she did because that. Mm.
I feel like probably enough. I'm sorry, but like a lot of people work in healthcare and probably are like aware of these things and then go in to give birth. If she came across enough people that worked in healthcare giving birth,
Yeah, that's true.
like I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I said something about it. I thought it was weird,
Hmm.
and I'm not even
Hmm.
a nurse. I work in the lab.
Right.
Like, come
That's
on.
true. All it takes is the wrong person. Yeah.
So, yeah, I wonder too, but anyways, so that was that story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
interesting.
can I ask
Yeah.
a few questions?
Yes.
Well, one, I would just want to point out, like, when you were talking about how, like, one thing I think is so interesting about labor is like the tempo of labor.
Mhm.
How you were like, well, like at first my water broke and I had no contractions, and then they came on really strong, and things just stalled and it just stayed the same,
Oh,
and no progress was being made, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a C-section and the baby's out of me, and it's just like, I think something that you just like, you can't prepare for someone for, you just have to experience is the like wild tempo changes that
yeah.
come with labor. One
Yeah.
second things are going slow, the next second they're moving fast. The next second you have a baby and you weren't expecting to have a baby that quick. It's just like insane to me.
It is. And like your body's about to do something that's like one, not only a miracle, but two,
Mm-hmm.
one of the most intense dang slash I don't want to say dangerous, but it can be, it is for the baby and the mom,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
absolutely.
So it's like I just can't believe that one, women are like capable of doing that. But two,
Mm-hmm.
it's like you are sending your body into overdrive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
My gosh, I think we have thunder. Yes, we have thunderstorms going on right now.
Fun. I think we're
Yeah,
due for
so
one tonight at some point.
yeah, kids might be waking up soon. But yeah, the tempo for sure. Like, and then your body has to like adapt and adjust, and then your
Yeah.
baby's stressed out, and then mom's stressed out. Like
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
I'm
So
like, oh
when
god,
you were told that you were going to have the C-section, like it sounds like it was pretty quick. They were like, okay, we're taking you back.
yeah.
Under two. I
Did
did.
you?
Yes.
That's funny.
It's crumbling. Sorry. Okay. Anyways,
No, it's
so
fine.
what was like? I know you were exhausted at that point.
Hmm.
What were your emotions like? Because you also wanted to have a home birth, and
Yeah.
now obviously things never go to plan. Where were you at mentally at this point?
When he came out, I did not give a crap about anything
Mm-hmm.
anymore. I was like so
Oh my
elated
God.
that he was happy, healthy. Like I
Yeah.
didn't like mourn my wants and desires. I actually looked
Mm-hmm.
at it like if I did have a home birth,
Mm-hmm.
would they have had the tools necessary
Yeah.
to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
ensure that everyone was happy and healthy? So
Mm-hmm.
in a way, in retrospect, I'm like, this for that, you
Yeah.
know,
That's a great perspective.
for
I
sure.
love your
Yeah.
mindset towards that. Also, I just want to
Sandy, I
say,
love you. Okay.
I just think you were so meant to be Jack's mama. I just love the way that you speak about his birth. It's so sweet.
Oh, thank you.
You
Yeah,
know?
he's my cool little chicken nugget, The twins, I guess they were less eventful. I was so excited, as you know, because I pooped and like I was like something's going on. My mom had come down, so kind of we were at our house over in Bristol,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a doctor's order for like a month ahead of time. Grace, stop doing home projects. Come back to where your doctor is. I'm like, got it. So we went to my dad's house in Knoxville, where my doctor was, and my mom came down probably for like a week and a half, 2 weeks maybe, before the twins were actually born,
Mm-hmm.
to stay and like get into the transition of watching
Mm-hmm.
Jack
Mm-hmm.
while I'd be in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes to church, and I'm sitting there at the kitchen island, and I'm like, I gotta poop. This is strange. It's been like, basically 9 months and I haven't pooped.
Yeah.
So go in, get the job done. And I go back to the kitchen island and I'm like, like it was rough. I'm not a very big person and I'm pregnant with twins.
Yeah.
And every week that I go into my OB, they were like, how are you making it another week? And I'm like, I was about to ask you the same thing. I cannot do this much longer.
What gestation were you at when you had the twins?
Almost 37 weeks.
Oh
So,
man, you go, girlfriend.
yeah, like they, okay, I'll tell you how big they were, but
Yeah.
when I went into labor, I remember my C-section was scheduled for like a week away because they
Mm-hmm.
were already huge
Mm-hmm.
for twins, basically. They were
Mm-hmm.
already huge. Not huge, but like good size. And I was telling my doc, like, I can't breathe hardly anymore. I can hardly eat. There's no room. I cannot make it much longer.
Mm-hmm.
And look at his mummy face. But anyway, or thumb.
I know, it
um,
always does that.
that's so funny. So I go into the hospital and I'm like, I can't do this much longer. And I pooped. And they're like, okay. So they go in and put monitors on my stomach and they're like, oh, you're having contractions. And I'm like, oh, I'm in labor. This makes a lot of sense now. Like, what an it, like, I'm so dumb. Like, what an idiot, you know?
It's hard when, like, it's hard to decipher. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
my body likes to poop when it's time to have a baby.
Yeah.
And every time I question it, I'm like, do I just have to poop or are we
Yeah.
gonna have a baby today? I don't know what's gonna happen.
Is this a one off, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's natural to question yourself. I don't know. You
Yeah,
know it's
for
coming,
sure.
but do you know?
Yeah, exactly. So the OB that was on call, she was like, well, we're not going to like torture you. You have a scheduled C-section anyways. Like, we're just going to
Hmm.
get you back and get the babies out. So,
Hmm.
like, within 30 minutes, they were there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So, Mila was 5 pounds and 9 ounces.
Nice.
Bo was like 7 pounds and 6 ounces. Something like that. Yes.
Grace,
I
my like
literally,
one baby born at 36 and 6, she was 5 pounds, 13 ounces. That's it. Just a little bit. I
yeah.
don't know how you had 7.5 more pounds
Plus
hanging out in there.
everything else in
Plus
there.
all the
Like
other things. Yeah.
I'm serious, like I
Oh.
had to do some serious like Kegel butthole exercises. I'm I'm serious. There was so much pressure. It was so uncomfortable, but
Oh man.
it was cool to feel them both. You know
Did
what
you
I mean?
like distinguish who was like
Oh
baby
yeah.
A and baby B in there?
Oh yeah. Because they always
Really?
stayed in the same place. They never moved around.
Wow.
So Bo was down on my bladder, and thankfully he was just cozy and didn't move.
Hmm.
But Mila's head was up here in my rib cage. But
Oh,
she was so tiny that even if she kicked, it was like she was kicking Bo's head. Sorry, dude.
poor
Yeah,
Bo.
yeah. But yeah, they were awesome. They seemed so tiny, you know, and we
Hmm.
saw Bo come out, but like for like 5 months, we were like, he looks Chinese. Like, whose kid is that?
Oh, sweet
Yeah,
Bo. Did he
he's
just have
grown.
really like squinty eyes? Cause my sweet Goldie
Yeah,
girl is the same way. She's got very
definitely.
squinty, like her, like she's a squinty smile and everything. And I'm just like, where
Oh,
did your eyes come from?
yeah, seriously. It is so sweet, like so endearing because now, like, Bo is the coolest looking kid. He's got
Yeah.
olive skin and like the deepest, bluest, like gem looking eyes, but he's got like yellow straw gold hair that's curly. And I'm
Oh.
like, he's like a little surfer dude. I don't know how to explain it. And he acts like one too. But he walks around, this is so dude like, but he's a dude. He walks around with his hand down his pants and just like, whatever. Danny, I'm not even kidding you. One time he was walking around and like fell and still had his hand in his pants and was like,
Oh
it was
my
so
gosh.
funny.
Little boys, they're something. They just love to feel themselves. And
Yeah.
it blows my mind. We could have a whole episode on boy mom things because there's just I don't know. They're
Aren't
special
they
breeds.
gross?
They are. They are gross. They and like gosh, it's you're probably not at the age yet, but eventually like poop and butt are going to be the funniest words ever and no matter what you do, they're just going to be the funniest words ever to them. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
Um, I'm excited, but it's it's cool to have both, you know, like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
different they are,
Hmm.
100%. So how did you manage? all the poop and like you're still in that phase, but like, did they learn from the others, you know?
You mean like the words poop or
No,
the
like,
literal poop?
I guess like dealing with poop, you know?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I've always said like poop is the least of my worries in motherhood. There's been some accidents that have been,
Yeah.
they've made the record books, but generally speaking, I can handle poop on me. I can handle poop on the wall and the floor. Um, Vomit is not for me. That's where I don't thrive. We have a bucket in our
That's
house. It's the
crazy.
vomit bucket.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Bless you.
No.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Poop's been an easy one for me. We just handle it.
Yeah.
Now, constantly talking about poop drives me crazy. Sitting at the dinner table and being like, "Let's play Would You Rather," and it's always, "Would you rather eat poop or?" I'm like, he came up with the best. He came up with a really good one the other day. He was like, "Would you rather eat poop or eat a light bulb?" And I was like, "Well, actually, I don't know." Really got me with that one.
Oh my God. That's so
Anyways, we're sidetracked here. Um. Anyways, okay. So yes, your twin birth. How was the post birth recovery? Do you feel like obviously your uterus, everything had to stretch or shift significantly more so than having one baby in there. How
yeah.
was your postpartum, like that early postpartum period?
I would say that, like to this day, my whole stomach split down the middle, and I can still feel that scar, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
But, um, like internally, but externally, that C-section scar never ripped back open like it did with the first after Jack, and it healed quickly, and it didn't hurt like the first one.
Yeah.
So the first one was like, I'm telling you, I don't know. They did a very botchy job on it. Like
Is it a
one,
different doctor?
yes, that
Hmm.
did them. It's like whoever's on call, really,
Yeah.
unless you're doing your scheduled surgery. And both times were like, surprise, I'm here, you know.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I don't know. It sucks because if I talk about a C-section experience, how do I even like recommend it or don't recommend it? Because I've had a good and bad one. You know,
Mhm.
it's like very
Mhm.
much dependent on the doctor, I think. And
Mhm.
my so when I had my second C-section with the twins, I had
Mhm.
my tubes tied at the same time. So
Mhm.
I had to like recover from that and
Mhm.
C-section and birth. And
Right.
I somehow felt like that postpartum was easier than with Jack. I don't know why. It just
Mhm.
was.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
it could be
crazy.
anything. It could be just seasoned and knowing
Yeah.
like what to expect, you
Mhm.
know. Or
And
like we
so
said,
quickly.
sorry, what?
I said it and so quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Um, were your doctors nervous for you delivering so close together?
Um,
Or did they seem like, nah, we got this?
I would say no. So I told them, you know, my OB, like I was concerned from things I had read online,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, and I'm just saying this, you know, because it's true. When I was pregnant with Jack, like I felt like my body was so well nourished for
Mm,
pregnancy.
mm-hmm.
And it still was in that mode, but I was nutrient driven as soon as I gave birth to Jack because I was
Mhm.
still trying to breastfeed. So it was
Mhm.
like smoothies every day, salads,
Mm.
fish,
Yeah.
red meat, all these good things. So my body was jam packed with good hormones and, nutrients. So when I told my OB this, he's like, I'm not concerned. It sounds like it's a good atmosphere, if you will.
Yeah.
And we monitored and everything was fine.
It's so, yeah.
We had one scare at 30 weeks, and that's when I was doing a lot of DIY projects.
Mm.
And it was actually like 2 weeks before he was like, you need to come back. And
Mm.
by then, I thought I was in labor, but it was just like really intense contractions. And
Oh,
we
I
went
see.
to we went to the hospital and they were like, nope, you're good. And I was like, well, thank God.
Thank the Lord, yeah.
Hmm. But yeah, anyways.
Business. So crazy to me. 10 and a
I
half months
know.
between babies, and let alone twins. Whew.
Mhm.
Your
Yeah,
body did some hard work.
it was insane. Yeah, it was insane. I told you about like finding out about the twins. And that was crazy too, but I don't know. I sound nuts, but I ponder like wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving into work today and I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking about it and I'm like, what would my life look like if we ever had more? And I have my tubes tied. And I'm like, what if we untied them? Tried again, went
Mm-hmm.
through this whole thing again. Oh, we're not going on dates anymore. And added one to the mix. And I'm like, and right now I miss my kids training, on days I told you.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't think it's right. But
Yeah.
dang, like maybe it's just the idea of the act of it. I don't know. Isn't that's a good
Mhm.
topic for another time. I
Oh
live
my
in flesh
gosh.
with my husband. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Girl, I'm glad for you. That's the way it should be.
Anyways, it's a good time,
It's
Sally.
yeah. Well, absolutely. I think it's man, I wish that there was a way to know like to just like discern through those feelings well. I I know that some women feel very clear um just I'm done. I don't want any more kids. This is an easy decision for me. And they never really ponder another kid. They're just clear cut and they feel good about it. And then there's other women who really struggle to know like when they're done or have feelings like you said of like, well, what if we did have more? Like what would that look like? And
Yeah.
um, I think it's a very like sensitive, touchy subject to say, okay, we're done having kids. I don't know. Anyways, that's the season I'm in.
Oh, Danny, I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's just like
Yeah.
it's a weird season of being like, I think we're done. Are we done? I don't know.
Yeah, like
Um,
I get you, because you're looking at the last baby like, when is it going to be the last this, the last that, the last,
yeah.
when are those things? And I thought about this with Jack. I used to like stand there when he would go to bed and wash all the bottles and like stand there and I'm like, when is it going to be the last bottle? And then I'm
Mhm.
pregnant. And
Yeah.
I'm like, it's going to be a while. But I thought about that because the twins are drinking out of cups now, and I'm like, when is it the last bottle? Like, is it the last cup?
Yeah.
Are we in that phase right now? And it's
Yeah.
like
I'm a
you're
very
never gonna
sentimental
see them again.
person.
Yeah,
I do that with everything, like putting away all of the newborn like things like the boppy pillow and
yeah,
all of the like the bouncer seats and stuff like that. Like as we've packed all those things up, I'm like, goodbye.
yeah. It's like a Toy Story or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, cry
Anyways, okay.
session.
I know
Oh,
someone can relate to that feeling.
yeah.
I think as a mama, you have a little soft spot in your heart for all those things, even if they're
Yes.
just bottles that were a part of your journey, you know?
Yeah. I have, and it sucks, but not at the same time because I think I'll be able to get organized once we unpack at the new house, hopefully.
Hmm.
Um, it's going and finding this stuff, like their take home outfits, come home outfits or whatever, finding
Hmm.
those and like storing them and getting them in their safe place because right
Yeah.
now everything's everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, excuse me.
No, girl, you're fine. If you wanna, I'm down if we're good to go, you know.
Yes, we'll wrap the episode here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing everything you
Yes,
did
of
and being
course.
so open. I really enjoyed learning about your birth stories.
Yeah. Well, everyone knows all about my vagina now and all of my C-sections and all the good stuff. But yes, this has been fun and yeah, I hope someone can relate and hopefully no one gets
Mhm.
their pain medication stolen from them ever.
Yeah, hopefully no other nurses are plotting to take pain meds. That's just,
Shame.
yeah, no good. No good. So, all right. Well,
Thank
thank you guys for listening, and
thank
we'll see
you.
you next week.
Alrighty. Good night.
Good night, Grace.
Good night.